Mastering Zero-Point Neutrality, Ascension Tools for the Evolving Soul, presented by the PCO Consciousness Cafe. Special thanks to Barbara and Elizabeth and all the folks at the Consciousness Cafe. You inspire me. The future is a concept. It doesn't exist. There is no such thing as tomorrow. There never will be, because time is always now. That is one of the things we discover when we stop talking to ourselves and stop thinking. We find there's only the present, only an eternal now. Alan Watts. Greetings, friends. What an interesting time to be alive, with so much information and misinformation out there right now, all designed to evoke an emotional response from the collective. It can be hard to stay out of the mindset where noticing the differences between what we perceive to be happening and what we'd like to see happening aren't always in alignment. It's this misalignment that can create anxiety or negativity within your consciousness field. As many are aware, we are souls having a human experience. This is a classroom where 12 aspects of our higher self are living simultaneously in 12 densities. Our goal is to have the experience we need to grow spiritually wiser and release or heal false matrix information so we can move on to the next level of lessons. We create pockets of shadow energies when we attach negative emotion to our experiences and don't heal or release them. By having the experience and then releasing the emotion, we allow more of our higher self to come into our body. In this way, bit by bit, we are collapsing the lower shadow aspects of ourself, while at the same time bringing the higher self into our heart space. We have a big brain precariously perched upon our shoulders, whose logic feature is still controlled by the false matrix programs. It's akin to a computer to run our human vessel. The real higher mind is in the heart area. This is our 0 point for connection, always connected to our higher self and the universal consciousness. This is the seat of our soul, or God spark. When we live from our heart, we are more easily able to fully be in the present moment. This collapses the matrix mind and time, past and future. We humans have a unique ability. We can time travel back into our past or forward into our future, all too often trying to answer the questions like what went wrong or what is about to go wrong, instead of what is my next soul-aligned choice. As meaning-making machines, we can take huge leaps in logic to get to our answers, but duality mentality often leads to judgment of self and others. It is this judgment that limits our absorption of new information, including source solutions being sent in response to our wonderings. As Tom Stoppard once said, information is light. Have you ever considered the idea that information itself is neither good or bad, but neutral until blended within our body, mind, spirit processing? Just think, for thousands of years, humanity has been encouraged to practice duality mentality, a matrix mind program intended to offer us a clearer understanding of ourselves, one that has been hijacked and used to encourage us to continuously manifest duality-based results. Add to that the knowledge that we are participating within that duality every time we judge ourselves or another based on how we feel and believe about any new information coming into our awareness at any time. From this perspective, it's easy to see it is we who create duality each time we place labels like good or bad on the information we receive, perceive, and process. Often when we have only partial information coming in, we can start to fill in the wrong blanks in our attempt to make sense of whatever it is we're contemplating. This habit is an ego trap that can take us and keep us locked in a perspective that moves us further away from our soul's truth and deeper into ego's what-if games. If we can individually and collectively begin to consciously practice quieting our matrix-trained mind in order to plug into our heart center first, then we can move more easily into a neutral thought position where consideration of whatever ideas we're processing can remain untainted by the shadow beliefs we formed in the Duality Matrix thought habit pattern. Often, the more information about any given topic that we can gather, the more an informed choice we can make. It is up to each of us as individuals to pay attention to where we allow our thoughts to wander and where we allow our focus to stay. To master moving into neutrality when processing new information, it's less about technique and more about consciously choosing to redirect your focus back into the present moment, because some part of you recognizes that only the now truly exists in time-space. For some, a simple mantra like 0 point now said 3 times does the trick. For others, it's listing 3 things that are going wonderfully in your life at that present moment, while others choose a symbol or a flower that, when envisioned, will move them into their heart space awareness quickly, into a heart-mind-soul space where labels like good and bad are not needed in order to discern personal truths on any given subject. Remember, discernment is knowing what choice is right for you. Judgment is believing you have the right to choose what is best for someone else. The first is your birthright, the other is not. For those who like more of a formula, try this. Pay attention to the internal dialogues you're hosting. When you notice your emotional base is being negatively affected by your internal dialogue, it's time to redirect. Begin by placing your hand on your heart and see yourself making a connection within. Then use your grounding tool, be it an image, mandala, or mantra. State your truths with I am statements like I am peace, I am clear. Here's a bonus tip. Sometimes we will not have the ideal conditions for a quickie meditation. In these cases, it's good to have a few upbeat songs in your mind that you can refocus your mind on and lighten the shadows being cast within your emotional body. Lastly, one of the most important things to remember is to lighten up on your expectations when it comes to perfection in performance from yourself or others. For progress, not perfection, is what will be needed for your next level of self-mastery. Though we have said this before, it is wisdom worth repeating. Just do your best, recognizing that some days your best will be better than other days. Each time we're able to consciously move out of our thought patterns, away from duality comparison thought habits, and into neutral heart wisdom processing, we strengthen our connection to our inner spirit and our connection to source truths. Just try it and see what happens. Play with the techniques until you find one that works for you, and then apply that technique as often as possible. Another good way to stay out of duality thinking is to ask yourself, what would my best self say, do, or believe right now about this new information? Then pay attention to the answers as they come. This is your next level of self-mastery, to find inner peace by practicing staying out of judgment and in the heart zone of discernment. For only you have access to your mind, heart, and soul 24/7. Only you can do this inner work. Are you ready? We thank you for joining us for our examination of Mastering 0 Point Neutrality, an Ascension tool for the evolving soul. Brought to you by whatcomesnextforyou.com. What comes next for you? What's in your future?